Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Veterans Day. Shout out to all of the veterans who have served. Shout out to all the family members who served alongside you. This is just not another day. For some people, it's a day off. But for me, it is always a time to reflect. I decided that I want to do this just as a special appreciation to the men and women who served our armed forces. And with that, I wanted to give us an opportunity to kind of share some stories, some wartime stories, but, some lighthearted stories, because again, I do know that sometimes it can be triggering for some people. I want to, let me see, to give a little bit of history about Veterans Day. So bear with me. I thought I had it pulled up, but I didn't. Okay. I thought I had it pulled up, but I did not. So who do we have got anybody in the house yet? I'm gonna wait a few seconds. See if we got anybody in the house. Okay. See if we got anybody in the house, because I would love to hear some of your stories. And I have something to share with you as well. You know, if you all are looking at the bags under my eyes, it is not the lighting, they are bags under my eyes. Okay. Okay. Because the allergies are real. The allergies are real. And happy Veterans Day to you, M. Mills. Thank you for your service. Absolutely. Happy Armistice Day. Absolutely. Um, it's a Veterans Day, originally known as Armistice Day, is a federal holiday in the United States observed annually on November 11th for honoring military veterans who served in the United States military armed forces that were discharged under conditions other than dishonorable. Okay. It coincides with other holidays, including Armistice Day and Remembrance Day, which are celebrated in other countries that mark the anniversary of the end of World War One. Major hostilities of World War One were formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the month in 1918, when the armistice with Germany went into effect. At the urging of major U.S. veteran organizations, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day in 1954. Unlike Memorial Day, okay, which is in May, Veterans Day celebrates the service of all U.S. military veterans, while Memorial Day honors those who died during their military service. So that's what we're doing today. Now, for all you veterans out there, I'm sure you know by now, if you want to get a free meal, you can do that. I'm good with my coffee at home. So I'm hoping to have some people. I'm going to put in a minute. I'm going to put the link in, so some people want to come in and share their stories, their veteran stories, and I want to share some things with you. You know, every year on my birthday and also Veterans Day, I do some reflecting. I reflect over the last year of my life, but also I reflect on my military service and how it truly changed my life. So it's funny that I was already thinking about my military service before my mother asked something of me. Now, I told you all that my mom already got her associate's degree. She's working on her bachelor's and she will graduate this May. Well, she has a project that she has to do for school. I forget the class, but she decided to do her project on my military service. That was truly humbling for me because, again, I know we all can remember at some point in our education where we had to do a report on someone that influenced us or whatever it may be. And many of us may have chosen a parent or a grandparent over the years. And I chose my grandparents, I chose my mom, different things like that. And so to come full circle for her to do a report on me is pretty exciting. So she needed some pictures. So I was reminiscing and going through all the pictures, not all of them, but quite a few pictures of the certain time of my military service to gather so I can send them to her. So I decided to put a little pictorial together and share some aspects with you. And again, hopefully to encourage you to share some of your, not necessarily pictures, but some of your stories with us if you choose to do so. So, I how can I put it like this? Um, I have served in I've worn some type of uniform in honor and service to our country for the majority of my adult life. What do I mean by that? I mean that after graduating from high school in 1985, I went directly to college. I guess like many kids, I was kind of burnt out. So my grades were okay. They weren't that great. They were okay. So that summer, I got a summer job between my first year, after my first year of college. I got a job as a receptionist type of administrative assistant working for the Army recruiting battalion. So I was doing some type of clerk work for the Army recruiting battalion. So that was my first introduction to anything having to do with military. Because I'm just gonna be honest, I really didn't know anybody in the military, and I actually, my ignorance thought if all women that were in the military were gay. Again, ignorance. I was young, 18 years old, didn't know. But during that summer of working at the job, I met quite a few service members, Army service members, men and women. And as I got to know them, I started to know more, and they weren't. All the women were not gay. Some of them were very ladylike, some were very feminine, some were very pretty, and some were, it was a career like any other. Well, as I learned, there were opportunities to earn money for college, and I needed that. And like I said, I was kind of burned out, but I knew that I didn't want to go active duty because I knew I wasn't ready for that. I knew I wasn't ready for that. But I thought, I could go into the reserves and use a GI Bill and help me earn money for college. So I did. So I signed the paper in July, I think July 24th, 1986, right? And went off to basic training. I was scared out of my mind. I was scared out of my mind because, that was my first time really being away from home. And at the age of 18, that was the first thing. Well, not really the first thing. One of the major things I got myself into that my mom could not get me out of because I was an adult. So I went off to basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, came home. After that training, a new person, as my mom said. But before then, she wrote me, let me back up a little bit. For those military people out there, when I went to ship out that day, the recruiter comes, picks you up early in the morning, takes you to the military entrance processing station for your final processing before you ship out. My mom was supposed to meet me at the airport to say goodbye to me before I left. So for whatever reason, I can't remember, but I'm at the airport and I'm looking around, and my mom's not there. So I'm about to go off, and my mom is not going to see me, and I don't know when I'm going to see her again because I'm, young, 18, 19. So I'm on the plane sobbing. You hear me? Sobbing. And then all of a sudden they say, here over announcement says, Terry Jones, please come to the front of the plane. So I go to the front of the plane, and my mom and my sister are standing there in the jetway crying because they thought they had missed me. And we just hugged, the three of us, and cried. Hugged the three of us and cried. And then I was ready to go. And then I went off to my basic training, was there for about a good 4 or 5 weeks. Had never, was learning a lot of stuff, getting into the pattern, PT and all that kind of stuff. And I must say I could not do a push-up when I left. Well, when I was shipped off. So because, they don't allow you to speak to your family right away because, again, they're indoctrinating you into the process. So it had been about a good 3 to 4 weeks and hadn't gotten any mail, hadn't done anything. And I was just at the chow hall or something like that. And this general comes up to me, or maybe a colonel or something, and he says something to me, and I'm just bawling. I'm bawling. And he says, "What's wrong with you? What's the matter with you, soldier?" And I said, I haven't been able to call home, and I miss my mom. So the next day, they allowed everybody to call home. So my mom wrote me a letter shortly thereafter, and I can't remember everything, but I will never forget. In that letter, she says that joining the military was probably one of the best things I could have done for myself as a young adult, and how proud of me she was. I don't remember anything else in that letter, but I remember that. That gave me the strength I needed to continue to push on when I wanted to give up in basic training, because, again, I had never done anything like that before, and that was rough. But then I graduated. From basic training. Then before I had to go off to my job training, I had a chance to come home. And my mother saw her baby, or her oldest baby. And I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you. And here I am. Uh-oh, I messed it up. What'd I do? Okay. Here I am. Basic training 1986 to 1987. I'm home with my mom. That's when I came home in my uniform, a young TJ. Yep, young TJ. That's me. So my mom said, "Who is this person?" Because I was up before she was, cleaning up, had my bed made, all that kind of stuff. Again, completely different person. So I had a uniform on in some shape, form, or fashion since the age of 19. So I was in reserves. Between the reserves and the National Guard, that is me between 1986 to 1998. That is me. That is me. I hadn't, I thought that I knew that I wanted to continue to serve, but I really wasn't sure that I wanted to go into active duty. I wasn't sure I was ready for that. But I excelled. And again, I was getting that money for college because I was using it using that GI Bill to get me through college. And they also had a loan repayment plan. So, I was really interested in that. Okay. That's a young TJ right there. Fresh face to the world. Fast forward. You see that little Dickens right there? I shared with Uncle Stu that by this time, I, I had graduated, got my undergraduate degree, went off into the world, then get pregnant. I shared that story with you. And I had to decide, okay, what am I going to do? Because I was in California, had my daughter. And I shared with Uncle Stu on his platform, I had tried to become an officer on 4 different occasions over a 10-year period. The first 2 times I was an undergraduate going through ROTC or the officer candidate program, fell in love and dropped out. Okay, ladies? Fell in love and dropped out. Third time I'm in officer candidate school, I get pregnant. Had to drop out. Yep, dropped out. Fourth time, I got my little baby in tow. I had to make some decisions. So I'm in graduate school and I find out that I could go through the program as a graduate student in ROTC. And I share with you that even before I decided to do it, I knew I needed my mom's help to do it because there was going to be some requirements of me as a ROTC cadet, aside from going to class, aside from my regular studies, aside from working 2 jobs. I was going to need my mom to help me. She said that she would help me, take care of my little Dickens while I'd have to go off to different trainings and stuff. Well, this is one particular time because one of the 2 jobs I had, I worked for a military alternative school for at-risk youth. And we had a parade that the kids were going to be marching in. And because my mom didn't feel up to watching my daughter that day, I was like, what am I going to do with my baby? So I went to an Army surplus store, found my baby some little fatigues, and she marched in the parade with the kids. Because again, she'd already started to serve with me and I hadn't even gone on active duty yet. Okay. But you do what you have to do as a mom. So, and I want to digress for a little bit. I called into one of the YouTube channels, and there was a man and a woman. We were talking about, women using their femininity and stuff like that. And I called in to talk about, as a military person, a military service woman, there weren't a lot of opportunities for me to rest in my femininity because, I was a single mother. I had to make some decisions. And so the suggestion was given to me, well, I really, really should have considered using some other opportunities because, your femininity is your most powerful thing. And it is. But I will submit to you, in this time period, we didn't have the same avenues available to us because I wasn't married. And, the things that I wanted to do to provide for my daughter that were legal, that were legal, and to make the kind of money I needed to make for us, this was the best option. There was no Instagram. There was no social media where you can make your money by having these followers doing a whole bunch of stuff. There was no OnlyFans, not that I would have done it anyway. So this was the best option for me and mine. This was the best option for me and mine. So I'm in the Reserve Officer Training Corps during this time period, again, working 2 jobs, going to school as a graduate student and in ROTC and a toddler. But I did what I had to do. Did what I had to do. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, hello, hello. Hey there. Let's see. This is my commissioning ceremony. So this is the 4th try. The 4th try was a winner. 4th time over a 10-year period to try to become an officer. And when did I get it done? As a single mother in graduate school, working 2 jobs with a toddler. Couldn't get it done when it was just me, myself, and I. But I got it done because I had to take care of her. I'm a new fresh lieutenant. I was very proud that day. I was proud because I was able to do some things that, my grandfather who served in World War II, excuse me, he couldn't do. So that was a very proud day for my family. And I graduated with my, I hadn't finished my graduate degree, but I had gotten my commission. So that was a pretty proud day for me. Pretty proud day for our family. So I'm saying this for single mothers, you do what you got to do. My promotion to First Lieutenant at Fort Hood, Texas. Oh, it's going to be, haters going to hate. Haters going to hate. I can't, I can't with them. Check it out. It's funny that you say that because I was watching something last night and they were talking about General Powell. And I was reading the comments and they were talking about how he's a murderer. There's blood on his hands and, he's a this, that, and the other. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I didn't put anything down, but I said, I wonder how many of these people who want to talk about stuff like that have ever served in any military service. Because here's the thing, whatever he did was right or wrong or indifferent. He was an exemplary military leader. And he did what our oath of office requires us to do. He followed and obeyed the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of those appointed over him. And anyone who has served in the military knows that you are required to obey orders, not the orders you agree with, not the orders that you like, not the orders given by the president that you voted for. Unless the orders are unlawful, you are required to do them. Now, as a leader also, when it was revealed that he didn't do it right, he took accountability for that. That's what leaders do. But again, I'm willing to bet, just like with those for the Vietnam, when they came back from Vietnam, spitting on them and stuff like that, they did what they were ordered to do. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing is not the right thing, but you're doing it for the right reasons. So for whoever put a thumbs down, beat it, scram, kick rocks, pound sand, all that. All that. Because I am very proud of my service. Very. I'm going to take a sip of coffee on that one. I will continue. That is my promotion to First Lieutenant. Here's the thing, people. Also, and this was a very this was a very pivotal moment when I got promoted to first lieutenant, because for anybody who knows anything about military service, when you have a butter bar, they think you a young, wet-nosed lieutenant, because most of them come out of college, 23, 20, 24, something like that, with a bachelor's degree. I was an anomaly because I went to get my commission while I was pursuing a graduate degree. So I was older than the majority of those that were in my same rank. So when I got promoted and I gave my speech, and I started to articulate what I just shared with you, the time that it took me to get a commission and the things that I had to go through to get it, you could see the expressions on the senior people's faces, because they assumed, because I was just a little butter bar, that, I'm some snot-nosed kid. I was 30. So I was 30 years old. And so they looked at me in a different way, because I'm like, wait a minute, she done been through some stuff. And I had. That is the general. She pinned me. She was the first female general commander of the 13th Corps Support Command at Fort Hood, Texas. It was an honor for her to promote me, because trust and believe, many people asked her to promote them and she did not. She did not. That is my aunt, who's like a second mom, pinning me to first lieutenant. It was a wonderful day. Here I am. Y'all know what time it is. By this time, I'm a first lieutenant at the San Diego Military Interest Processing Station, 2000, 2003. That was a pivotal time. You know what happened during this time period, of course, right? 9/11. 9/11. You see me there administering the oath of enlistment to a young person. It was a room full of young people. I would administer the oath of enlistment several times throughout the day. Again, never forgetting what happened on the day of 9/11, still having to administer the oath of enlistment, knowing that the very same oath I had administered the day before took on a different meaning, because those kids that were raising their hands then, many of them did not come back. That was hard. It was life-changing. Many of them I knew would not come back. Many of my comrades that I served with at the military entrance processing station did not come back. One of the young men that I swore in, that went to my church 6 months after I swore him in, he was back and I attended his funeral. It's real stuff. So again, for the ignorant person who wants to, people who want to throw stones at General Powell, throw stones at military veterans, kick rocks, because I will guarantee you've never done anything for anybody other than yourself. Call me up and tell me I'm wrong. Moving right along. Promoted to captain. That is my mom and my best friend I was telling you about since we've been 8 years old, pinning my captain's bars on me. That was a very pivotal moment for me also, because my grandfather had just passed away the month before. So that promotion took on a whole different meaning. It did. Because my grandfather had been, I used him to motivate me, to galvanize me to reach heights that he did not have an opportunity to do, because I wanted to make him proud. Even since he's been gone, he is still my motivating force to do things that he did not have the opportunity to do. I'm proud of it. I was the first one. Yes, it's true. Inter-service transfer from the United States Army to the United States Navy. That is my ceremony on the November 30th, 2003. I was in the Army. December 1st, 2003, I was in the Navy. Just like that. Okay. But there was a lot of work behind the scenes. It took a whole year-long process to be approved for that transfer. And it was, again, very pivotal, because the Navy accepted me in when they were kicking people out because they were overmanned. So again, I give God the glory, because again, opening doors for me that were closed to many. And again, it enabled me to do and be the things for my daughter that I'm not sure anything else would have, another career would have done. My first duty station as a naval officer, Navy Personnel Command, Millington, Tennessee. And because I had just left the Army was the Navy, as I shared with you, was kicking people out, primarily officers, because there were too many officers, and they had a congressional mandate to reduce their strength. Well, because I had just left the Army and I had, could speak the Army language, knew the standards and requirements for admission into the Army, I worked with senior Navy personnel and senior Army personnel to devise the Blue to Green program to enable those officers who had not quite met the requirements that they needed as an officer, but had significant enlisted service, to transfer into the Army instead of losing all of that service time to be kicked out. So I played an integral role of helping to devise that program to save those service members so they would not be kicked out, particularly if they had served as enlisted non-commissioned officers and then just did not satisfy their officer requirement to revert back. So again, I'm grateful for those opportunities. And again, that's my mom and the young man I was dating at the time. Because I was new to the Navy. Again, it's about doing what you need to do to get it done. I was in the Navy for maybe a year when I went to my first duty station, I tell you, at Millington, Tennessee. They needed someone to chair the Navy ball. I was the only person that volunteered to chair the Navy ball, and I'd only been in the Navy for 6 months. But I did it in 2004. And I did it in 2005. What I did was I took the opportunity to work with those junior sailors who knew more about the Navy than me. I led it, but they did it. And they grew me. They trained me into the customs and courtesies of being a naval officer, but I let them shine because they knew what they needed to do. And the first year we had increased the attendance of the Navy ball that first year in 2004. And by 2005, we had sold it out. We had sold it out. So when I say I look at my military service over the course of my life, I've worn a uniform for the majority of my adult life. And it afforded me the opportunity to give my daughter a life and expose her to different things that I'm not sure I would have been able to otherwise. So I'm reminded of that, call into that show when the man and the woman said, that they weren't sure if, I could be feminine or if I could be submissive because of my role in the Army or as a leader. And I had to take a step back. I'm like, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. Because again, you do what you have to do. And like I said, in the time in which I was raising my daughter, there were no social medias. There was no OnlyFans. Again, I'm not doing that. There was no Instagram modeling. You worked. Or you were kept. I wasn't kept, so I worked. And I found the career that would give my daughter give me a chance to give my daughter life. And it's so interesting. When I first started into ROTC, I had no intention of going on active duty. I was just going to be a reserve officer. But because I had to make some decisions, not just for me, but my daughter, I said, I owe it to myself to at least see what it's like to go on active duty. And if I didn't like it, after my initial tour, I would get out. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it because I was an inspiration to women. I was an inspiration to Black women. I was an inspiration to Black people. When they would see me in my uniform as an, an officer, and them saluting me. They, I think it did more for them than it did for me. Because again, it let them know what was possible. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Let me put this up here. Thank you. Thank your mom for her service up in here. Yes. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to drop the link. And if anyone wants to come in and share some of their experiences, whether it be as a military brat, as a service member, as a military spouse, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. And so, again, the military gave me a life that I could give to my daughter. And because of that, it taught her a lot of things. Now, I will say it did get a lot more difficult for her as she got into high school, because at high school, your friendships mean a whole lot more, and moving around is not as fun. Because every time we moved, when she was little, she was like, oh, this is an adventure. She loved it. But by the time she started getting into middle school and definitely into high school, it wasn't fun. But one thing it taught her how to interact with all kinds of people from different cultures, different races, different socioeconomic levels. It taught her that because she was always the new kid. But even though she was always the new kid, I still tried to provide some sense of stability with her, because we, developed these traditions that we still do to this day. And one of the traditions is, every year around Christmas time, we always go to the Nutcracker Ballet. And the Nutcracker it'll be, this year she's 27. So this will be our 24th year going. So no matter where we were stationed throughout the country, she could always look forward to Christmas time. We were going to go see the Nutcracker together. So that was one thing. And it taught her discipline. It taught her, to be a leader in her own right. So, I've said that about the conversation that I had with the other show I called in, is that when we are asking for people's advice, we can listen to it, as we should, but find out but before we take all of it to heart, we really want to peel back the layers to see how much can we actually fit into it. How much does that really apply to us? Because I had to remember, I'm like, I'm speaking to people that are over 20 years my junior, that are young. How are they going to tell me what 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 I could have done then, because the things that are available to them now were not available to me then. So it was not that I was even asking for their advice. I was sharing my experiences. So sometimes we got to take some stuff with a grain of salt. And I'm sure they mean well. But sometimes you can only give based on what you have to give. So I'm going to wait a few more moments to see if anyone's going to chime in before I let you all go. I didn't have anything big planned. I just wanted to share and honor the veterans who have served, the family members who've served alongside them, and to thank them for their service, because, freedom is not free. It's not free. So when I see, when they talk about, okay, 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 but it's cute. It's nice. It's, again, it goes to the motivation. Yes, it was, it was. And, we lived on the base. I loved it. It was a safe place, particularly in Millington, Tennessee, for my baby girl. Everybody knew everybody. OG Patrice is coming through. Hold on. Hey, lovely.
Happy Veterans Day, beautiful. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm loving that fatigue, girl, that camouflage. You got listen. You working it.
Amazon.
You working it. It really?
Amazon, yes. And I just
I,
got it
I
this week.
I never served, but I love army fatigue. So I actually bought like an army fatigue head wrap scarf and some walking shoes that I use to walk in. And when I have the bad hair days, I wrap my hair in it. But I love army fatigue. But I just want to say to you, thank you, thank you so very much for your service to our country. Thank you for being a Black woman that I can only imagine how that must have been, that experience for you, being a single mom. I get it. You did what you had to do. And I
Yes.
commend you for that. And thank you so very much. I am the mother of a son who served. My son served in the Air Force.
Well,
His
thank him
father
for his
served in
service.
the Army. I will.
Yes.
His father served in the Army. So listen, I get it. You know, I
You know,
get
it's
it.
funny. It's funny because I met Danielle's father. We're both in the military, and I said the third time I got pregnant, and that was I met her father. He was an army officer, so she knew between the both of us, she didn't want no parts of the military. she didn't want,
Ooh, poor
she didn't want
thing.
no parts of it.
I'd love to hear her story on that because I bet she got some stories of her own.
Yes, yeah, she wanted no part of it. But
So you said,
and huh?
I'm sorry, you said you were in the Army and the Navy. You served
Yep.
both. Oh
Yes.
wow, wow, that's
Yes.
awesome. I didn't know like how can you do that? Like, can you just go from one to the other, or do you have to like after you get through serving a certain amount of time, then do the other one? Like, how does that work?
Well, some you can do both. What I did, I had no break in service. Literally, one day I was in the Army, the next day I was in the Navy. But the process to make that happen started 6 months to a year prior, because I had to
Oh,
request an inter-service transfer. So with that, when you request an inter-service transfer, you have to go. Your packet has to go all the way through up the Army chain of command, and once the chain of command has blessed it, then it goes to the next branch to see if they have room and a place for you.
okay, got you. Now, how many years did you serve in totality?
Well, active duty, I was on active duty for 10 years, but when I include my reserve time, I was total of 22.
Wow. So you came out with that's considered like full Army served time, reserve time served. I think it's
Yes.
20 or more years or something. You
Yes.
do
And
that's like the
my
full capacity.
yeah, my reserve and National Guard time did count toward that 20-year full benefit time.
Wow, that's amazing. I know you probably got to see a lot of the world and travel and see it from a different perspective as a Black woman. So I have so much respect for you for that. Listen, I as always said, it was three things I know I probably couldn't do. That was be a police officer, a fire person, and a firefighter, and serve in my country. Like, I don't know. I think it takes special kind of people to do that. And I just want to say that when I became very involved in the Obama administration and
Hmm.
saw some of the things firsthand when we went to like the veterans hospitals and things, I had never, listen, TJ, I had never in my life, listen, girl, oh my God. And I got a newfound respect for people that serves, the things that I saw, the things that I heard, that the stories. And listen, if you have never gotten that experience, I will say to someone that haven't served that they need to go and visit someone in either VA hospital or the nursing home that served and listen to a story and just get that understanding of what it took and what they, especially if they served during when a war was going on. Did you go through that?
I did not. I was not deployed. I was not.
Oh,
And again, I don't. To be honest, I don't know how I wasn't, but
wow.
I wasn't.
Wow.
Um, and that's a
But I'll
part of
tell
it
you,
too, Patrice, because sometimes you have survivor's guilt.
yes.
And I've dealt with people, and I struggle with that also because, again, I said, how is it that I did not end up
Yeah.
there? And again, how is it that some people that I swore in, and and they. So again, it's a lot of it, and you feel,
Yeah.
sometimes you feel guilty because you weren't.
Yep. I had an ex, he did 2 tours of Vietnam. So you already know that I
Hmm.
know. So, but like I said, I have a newfound respect. I agree with, I heard, what was the actor name? Bruce Willis one day. He was doing an interview, and I heard him say, and I never thought about it until how it impacted my thought process. He said, every individual in America that served our country, he said, it's sad that they don't get the respect, they don't get the job opportunities, that a lot of the housing opportunities, and we really don't take care of our veterans like we should. He said every one of them, when they done serving their country and come out back as a civilian, trying to adapt to the world again, they should all have been gotten $1 million a piece. He
Let me
said,
tell you
if
something.
we,
Let me tell you something, and it's interesting that you bring this up because, again, I remember when I was early on in my active duty career, I said, the military is what I do, it's not who I am.
mm-hmm,
But it wasn't until I got ready to get out, and in part of my job, once I got out, I would help military service members transition to go into civilian service and all that kind of stuff. And I remember you have this thing that they call the Army Career Assistance Program or Transition Assistance Program, which is again designed to help military people with resumes and all that kind of stuff to prepare them to go into the civilian life.
right,
Well, so many had difficulty making that transition because it is who you are.
yep,
Because again, you don't have to when you walk into a room when you're in the military, you don't have to say a word. They look at your rank, they know what's up.
mm-hmm,
You don't have to sell yourself when you go to a job interview. You don't have to go to a job interview because again, they see your packet, they see what you've done, they pick you. So again, it's a cultural change that you have to go through because again, when you are proud of what you've done and then you go out into in the civilian world and they don't give a damn about what you did.
yep,
You have to
yep,
learn how to sell yourself, how to market yourself, and you have been in charge of millions of dollars worth of equipment,
mm-hmm,
hundreds of thousands of troops. And then you go into civilian sector and they act like you ain't did nothing.
yep, yep. Yep. And it's sad that like I said, the appreciation is not there like it should be. The appreciation. It saddens me when I see homeless people that are or were veterans and they're now homeless and they're dealing with mental illness. Just the care that they need is not there like it should be. And we got the VA hospitals, yes, but it's nowhere near, that where it
Oh
should.
yeah. You
So
know,
yeah.
my husband, my husband has family members that, serve, but nothing close like, since he's been with me. So when he went with me to the VA hospital one time, because he was under the assumption,
Mm,
I'm about to bring M Mills up. He was under the impression, like so many civilians probably are, that once
mhm.
you serve in the military, you can go to any hospital or any place to get medical care. And you can't.
Can't. Yep.
You
And it
can't.
should be anywhere in the, listen, y'all serve this country, so why you can't go anywhere in the country to get
He
the
was
services
he
and
was
care
he
that's
was
needed?
dumbfounded. He was like, "You mean?" I said, "No,
Yeah.
babe." I said,
Yep.
"Fortunately for me, I said this is the VA is supplemental for me because I had insurance, through my job. But for some people, the VA is their only form of medical care,
Yes. That is.
and it is not.
Yep.
It is not adequate in
Yep.
certain instances. Patrice, I'm gonna go ahead and let you
I
go, babe.
agree.
I'm gonna bring a couple of people, but thank you so much for calling.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate you. You are appreciated for serving our country. So salute to you, Queen.
Thank you, sweetheart. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bringing in Mills to the stand. Thank you, honey. Are you there? Hello, are you there? I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Hey, how are you
Thank
doing
you for your
today,
service.
sis? Thank
Fine.
you
Thank
for
you for your
yours.
service. I see you rocking your
Hey.
uniform in the back. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I had to dig out my old pictures too, girl.
That's
Oh,
right. That's right.
yeah. That's
That's
it,
right.
girl. I just wanted to say thank you for your service. And I am just so proud of the way that you definitely represent us, sister.
Thank you.
It's so wonderful to see another older, mature, and sexy sister handling her business out here, okay? So, yes, sis, I just wanted to support you and just let you know that I really enjoy your channel. I enjoy your daughter, and I
Thank
just
you.
enjoy your content. And I just want to say thank you for your service, sis.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for yours. And thank you for supporting me.
Okay, girl, I got to get back to work. You have a great day.
You too. Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, there's a JJ waiting to come up, but I don't have a picture. I don't have anything, and I'm not here for surprises. So if you're in the chat, please identify yourself. Because I need to know something. Because I don't need any surprises here today. Um I'm not having it. So I'll give you a few minutes. If you have an avatar or a picture, I'm gonna need something. No disrespect intended, but this is a I have rules. Thank you, thank you. You know, I am about to go see my baby, my little tink tink. I'm going to see my little tink tink. I haven't seen her since I came off the road with my hubby. So I'm about to go see my little tink and play with her. So if JJ's in the chat, please tell us who you are. And before I bring you up, because I'm not doing that. Like I said, no disrespect intended. Never had a chance to be on the panel. Come on through, Vaughn. You know that's my brother's name. Come on through. If you want to call in, I'll drop the link. Come through. My brother is a veteran too. I shouted him out this morning. He served on he was in the Navy, served on the submarines. So he had his stories to share, but he wouldn't call in. I said he's a party pooper. So I'm gonna wait just a little bit more to see if anybody else chimes in. Just one moment. One moment, please. That was my daughter. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, sweetheart. Yes, I'm repping the veterans today. And I got my you see my camouflage girl t-shirt with her camouflage glasses. You see her rocking? Okay, Mr. Brian is coming through. Hello, sir.
Wow. Hello, hello. How are you?
Fine, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Let me turn this television down for a second. I don't want to get the feedback going. But thank you so much for your service. I've always seen you on different streams. Excuse me, I'm a little bit hoarse,
That's
but
okay.
I've enjoyed you every time that I've seen you, and I'm a new subscriber to your channel,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate all that you've done for this country and your service. And I really appreciate you said something earlier about the femininity, and I like the way that you address that because some of these different content creators, if I could say that, a lot of them take it a little bit too far, and
Hmm.
I don't believe that you being in the military should take away from your femininity. You know what I'm saying? You serve the country. So, when you made that statement earlier, I could appreciate you addressing that because that's the thought of some people.
Yeah. 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 Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I think I might have somebody coming up here. Okay, who is
Oh,
this
you got
JJ? I see a picture. I hope it's not a surprise because I'll be mad. Okay.
No, no, I'm sorry. My internet, I'm overseas, so my internet is crazy right now. Hope you can hear me.
Oh, oh, well, thank you. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Bahrain.
Thank you for your service.
awesome.
You're welcome. I didn't realize you were a naval officer. Much respect.
I yes, I was. Army and the Navy. So yes, Vaughn, and thank you for
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
just thank you for real quick, Vaughn. Thank you for sharing that because again, you know, as I stated, you do what you have to do, and again,
Exactly.
I am feminine, but again, I think, and my daughter has shared, some of my ways because of my
Hmm.
military service were more assertive.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
because they had to be, you know, they had to
Okay.
be.
Yeah.
But again, I think one of the young ladies was saying, well, you really should, the military, that would be the last thing I would think about doing because, I want to rest in my femininity. But I had to remember, I'm like, you're probably my daughter's age. So what would you, so, we didn't have, social media where you could be, make money from
Yeah.
social media or,
Exactly.
so,
Yeah.
if
Times
you
are
want to do
different.
something legal, which I did.
Exactly. Kudos to you for being legal.
Yeah, so, but hey, I'm here to share my story. If it could help some people, inspire some people, that's what I'm all about. And again, my husband has me letting me do this as a hobby, and I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying talking to people like yourself. And now I have
Yeah.
JJ from Bahrain. What's up? I'm excited.
That's awesome. That is really awesome.
But I'm gonna go ahead and drop you and so I
Thank
could talk to
you.
JJ. And my daughter
Okay.
just
Thank
called me
you.
like to let me know Nichelle is up. So she said, like, come on. Okay.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
So JJ, you got some stories you want to share?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's have it.
Well, as you know, there's not a lot of us in the Navy, not officer wise.
Yes.
So ward room. Um, I will say this: when I first got commissioned, one of the chiefs walked up to me. He's retired, but he was just like, the only reason why you got commissioned is because you're a black female, and kind of pissed me off, because I work my ass off to put in my package.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that stigma, walking around as a military female black officer. Certain people do look at you like, did you get in because of a quota or are you
Mm-hmm.
worthy? So I do feel like there is an extra. We have to put in extra effort, and just being a female, as just being a female. Period. Femininity, all of that. Yeah, whatever. Um, you have to be a strong leader. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there you
Or
go.
they
I
won't
don't know if
follow
that's
you.
feminine or not.
They won't follow you.
Yeah, and I mean there is a way to do things, but as far as being feminine or not being feminine and being masculine, I don't know about all that. One thing I have learned as being a leader is just be nice to people. I mean, you know how it was if you're prior listed, you know what it was like to be
Yes.
treated like crap. So just treat people
Yes.
how you want to be treated. This isn't difficult. Um, but other than that, I just want to say thank you for your service.
Well, now,
I've
now,
been
how long
watching
have you
you
been?
and Lapeef and Kevin Samuels.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
thank you. Now, how
yeah.
long have you been serving?
I just hit 22 years. So
Okay. So
yeah.
you were you commissioned during IRAD, the involuntary release from active duty for the officers?
Yeah,
That was
well,
in
I
two.
wasn't.
Hmm?
No, I was enlisted. I did go to Iraq though, but I was
No, no,
enlisted at the
not IRAD.
time.
Not
Yeah.
IRAD, but what happened was when I came in, because I came into the Navy December 1st, 2003, and then I went to Millington in January 2004. Well, what had just happened in December 2003 is that the Navy had reached it was overcapacity of junior officers, so they had the involuntary release from
Mm,
active duty in 2004. And so they had to, the Navy had to get rid of like over 600 officers that were under 5 years of service if they had not completed their mandatory requirements or training benchmarks by that time. So that's why it was
okay.
so monumental, because the time that I came into the Navy from the Army, they were kicking people out of the Navy, kicking people out of the Navy, officers, not enlisted
So
officers.
they were, I'm going to say that, well, no, I was going to say I got out on a program for enlisted around that time. They had a
Mm.
program set up where, as long as you weren't like a dirtbag or anything like that, I was going to school at the time, so I was able to get out early. I didn't get up early, but they were letting people out early. Um,
Mhm.
Around that listed too. You know how they have
Yeah.
those programs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's when the Blue to Green program, do you remember hearing about Blue to Green? Do you remember that
I
program?
do. I do. So is that so
I
you
was
went you were yeah, I do. You were Navy first and then you went Army?
No, I was Army first and then
Okay.
went into the Navy. So that's why I was saying it was such a monumental thing, because the time that
Ah.
the Navy had accepted me as an inter-service transfer, they were in the process of notifying officers in the Navy that they were releasing them. So many of them were just getting kicked out without any chance, because some of them had a lot of enlisted service, and many of them wanted to revert back to enlisted, but they weren't allowed to do that at that first iteration. They were just done.
Oh
So when
wow.
I came on board
Wow.
as a new naval officer, but because I just came from the Army and I knew the processes and all that, and I coordinated with the people at Department of the Army to start to try to do the blue to green, to say, okay, if you have this amount of service, even though the Navy can't keep you, maybe you can transfer to the Army. So if I had just transferred from the Army to the Navy, but I was helping to create a program to be the blue to green, to keep people from just losing their time in service. Yeah, it was pretty
Okay. So
interesting.
you were behind that. That's pretty cool.
I was
Yeah,
one
that's pretty
because again I
cool.
had
I
the
actually
contact.
let's see. So right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry, ma'am. My internet is horrible over here.
That's okay. That's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, right around that time, I am prior Air Force too. I had to try. I had to
Oh,
just try. Um, I
okay.
so I was Navy first, and then I went Air Force. Then I came back in the Navy. So yeah, there is you could transfer. You'd be surprised what you could do in the military. But yeah, right around that time, I went from, and I don't have any breaking service either. So I went from Navy to Air Force Reserves, and then Navy Reserves. I didn't. I do remember a blue to green. I remember more blue to green probably when I came back into the Navy because a lot of enlisted Navy guys were going green because there were a lot of warrant officer programs for the Army. So I remember
Mm-hmm.
that. But I don't remember blue
Yeah.
to green like before I got out. But that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
think that's an awesome program. I'm glad you were behind that.
Well, I mean, I would, again, I was just a lieutenant at the time, a Navy lieutenant. But again, I was really upset because I'm like, these, I forget what they call it, but what they call them? Mustangs. That's what they call them. There were a lot of Mustangs who had a lot of service and basically were going to get kicked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said, there has to be a way to save, these people from their career. I mean, they've invested. And so the first iteration, people, they just didn't have any choice. I mean, so I remember, and again, because I was new to the Navy, I didn't know how silly I was, but again, I was willing to risk stuff because, I didn't know any better. I said, well, why don't someone just tell the Admiral that they could do this? So they said, well, do you want to tell the Admiral? I said, well, sure, I'll tell him.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I went and talked to the Admiral. I will never forget, his name was Admiral John Towns. And I said, sir, I think would be a good idea. Could we consider this? And so that started the process. I'm like, wow. But, I will agree with you. It's funny because I don't know what
That
part
is
you heard that
awesome.
my mom is she's getting her bachelor's degree in May. And so she's doing a project and she decided to do it on my military career. But she said she wanted to focus on primarily when I transferred from the Army to the Navy and the cultural differences between the two, not only from, being from Army to the Navy, but also the
Oh, yeah.
challenges I experienced as a woman and as a Black woman in the two different services. And there was a distinct difference in how it's treated as a commissioned officer in the Army versus how it's treated as commissioned officers in the Navy. A distinct difference. Yeah, it was a distinct difference. And I
Which
had to
is
correct.
worse.
Yeah. Oh, the Navy was. It was. And I think largely because I'm just saying, it was. I think largely because there weren't as many Black female officers in the Navy versus the Army. It just wasn't. Because I had to correct many of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talk about some chief said what he said to you. Oh, I had to, especially when they found out that I was in the Army first. Oh, oh, I had to check a few people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're damaged goods.
I had to check a few people.
Oh, geez.
And
I
remember
want to say that there's probably not as many females in the Navy as there are
True.
the Army.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. But I think it was so funny. I remember, again, getting used to the cultural differences of the military is that I remember it was like you could have a sailor go through the ranks, but then when they got selected to be a chief, all of a sudden they were leaders now. And that was really different for me because in the Army, you were always, being trained to be a leader at every promotion. You didn't automatically become this leader when you got selected for E7. No, you were being trained to be that all the way up. So I remember I said something. Well, I said, well, I don't understand. I said, what you're telling me is if someone is overweight when they're E6, when they become an E7, it's automatically okay. I said, so automatically they should be able to tell the E6. And so I guess I asked too many questions.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. But I don't regret. I learned a lot and I enjoyed it again, especially like I said, when I was in Millington doing the Navy ball. That's how I learned a lot about the Navy because again, like you said, treating the sailors, with dignity and respect. And I knew that they knew what to do because I didn't. So I learned from them, I was in charge of the ball, but they did everything and they were teaching me. And because I deferred to their expertise, and empowered them to do things that other leaders had not, I allowed them to shine. And I think I got so much out of that. I really did. I really did. So how long have you been in
That's
Bahrain?
awesome. That's awesome. Well, it was so nice to meet you, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry.
You too.
Yeah, a few years now. I'm in between, yeah, military, and I do some stuff out here. It's been a few years. Yeah.
Well, you be safe. I appreciate your service, and I definitely appreciate you calling in and sharing your story with me. And it's I'm glad for every ounce of my military service, and I wouldn't trade none of it for anything. None of it.
Yes, ma'am. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I don't regret any of it. And I mean, military's changing. The war room is changing. I don't. Uh, I Yeah, military's changing. Um,
Yeah,
I think
it is.
with, I have to say for Black people that are coming in, don't just come in, and especially Navy, don't just come in like undesignated. Come in with a purpose. Make sure that your skill, just because you're in the military, that no, like come in with a transferable skill that you can use on the outside. Don't just come in the military, and don't come in for either. In with good
You're breaking
assets
up, honey.
for thing again, study, whatever, because the ASAP score.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. I guess we'll have to let you go, JJ. But thank you for calling in, sweetheart, and thank you for your service. Okay, so thank you all for calling in and stopping by, sharing your stories, and again, I thank you. It's been a great day. I appreciate it, and I salute all of you who have served alongside your family members who've been military brats, military spouses, military family members whose parents were, all of that. I thank you, thank you, thank you, and you all have a great day. Take care.